A politician is someone who, when they see the light at the end of the tunnel, orders more tunnel. The politicians pose as the servants democracy in order to become the masters.
You're a fool and I'm not listening.
Jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber.
The problem with political jokes is that they get elected. For this chessboard, I'm using ash for the light wood and mahogany for the dark. All the boards must be the same size, so lots of cutting ensues. First, I cut the boards to width on the table saw. I'll need 4 of each. I would run my country the way I run my family. I'd do anything I could to keep it out of debt. It's also important to be well read on current events, and if you aren't, then you have to get that way. The enemy isn't conservatives or liberals. The enemy is deception. Then I cut the boards at least an inch too long on the radial arm saw, using a Jorgensen clamp as a stop. You notice that people are taking comedians seriously, but see the politicians as a joke? I see the thicknesses vary, so I correct the problem back on the table saw. Those who are willing to sacrifice their freedom to guarantee their safety deserve neither. I use the bench jointer to make each board exactly the same width. This is critical for lining up later. I lay them down on a pair of pipe clamps, alternating species as I go. I lift them on edge and spread glue evenly over the entire surface. Then I square the boards before clamping. Why do we jail the petty criminals, but the great ones we elect? Once the glue dries, I chip off the excess glue from one end and sand it carefully. Then I cut the board at 90 degrees to the glue joints, at exactly the same width as before. If change is so bad, why do I keep so much of it in a jar on my bureau? Now I lay down the cut pieces, in order, and flip around every other one. Politics is the second oldest profession, but I've noticed it bears a close resemblance to the first. I repeat the gluing process, making sure all the cornered points touch. If they don't, you're out of luck. Mine almost did. We'd all like to vote for the best man, but unfortunately, he's never a candidate. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Vast wealth equals vast power, which equals vast corruption. Don't vote for a president, vote for a party. Vote for the one that helps the people first, and the corporations after. Politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies. The problem with politics today is that it's more concerned with right or left than right or wrong. Once the glue has set, I smooth all sides by whatever means necessary. I started with 3/4 inch boards and ended up with 5/8 inch. Politicians are like diapers. They have to be changed often, and usually for the same reason. Politicians are wrong. Truth is not determined by majority vote. When I was a boy, I was told that anyone could grow up to be president. After this administration, I believe it. After sanding to 220 grit, I raise the grain by dampening the surface with water. After the water dries, I scrape the surface, then sand it again with 220. I apply a 3-pound cut of shellac, let it dry, sand with 220 lightly, and reapply. 3 coats. The result is less than stellar. It looks like my first junior high school project in shop class. I scrape and sand the finish off until I'm where I was before. Vote is the instrument of a free man to make a fool of himself and a wreck of his country. Now I try a tung oil finish. It's not as shiny, but the wood looks warm and inviting. Let's play! George Washington was the only president who didn't blame the previous administration for his troubles. Progressives encourage dissent to improve society through constructive engagement. Conservatives encourage dissent to identify and imprison the traitors.